are going for a whole hour. Straight dog talk and the song. Jump on in and speculate. Show up on time, don't be weak and late. We are community, so don't hate and learn to cooperate.
TGI Friday Dog Talk. What is going on, family? Yes, I've been missing in action. Could not make the live on Monday. Just what, had to take care of some things, and only for the fourth time in about 6 years that we've been on have I missed. So my apologies for those of you that expected me and I let you down. Isarata says, good evening, everybody. What's going on? Happy Friday. Adam Fields, like always, good evening, Bully fam. What's up, man? Anthony McCausland, what's up, fam? Not much, man. We're about to get started here. Raul, ¿cómo estás, hermano? Jerry O, Bullies Inc. We got Kyle Martin. Happy Friday. What is going on, man? Hit the like on the way in. Listen, tonight, man, I got a nice little topic, man, that I've been thinking about this whole week, actually. And it's under the hood. Whether you're a dog breeder, whether you're a dog owner, what are the things you know now that you would have wished you knew then, right? There's, at least in the breeding world, I could tell you there's a lot of hush and people won't say certain things. And then once you trip over it, that's when you figure it out. So I kind of wanted to make this live on that particular topic so we could help out the new guys so they don't trip over the usual, right? The most common thing. We got Carmelo and Chica TV. Happy Friday, Bully fam. What's going on? Anthony McCausland, happy Friday. Watching my dog not eat the raw chicken. Okay, we'll get into that. Tricon Bullies, big female matters more than big males. Very good point, Tricon Bullies. Again, guys, today's topic, we're going to go under the hood. What is the one thing you know now you wish you would have known then before you were either breeding or even just dog owning? It could be nutrition. It could be the vet. It could be the neighbor next door. It could be the squirrel running in front of your dog when you're taking him for a walk. I don't care what it is. Do me a favor. When you comment, let me know what city, state, or even country you're watching us from. Definitely like to hype it up a little bit. EJ says, enjoyed the episode with Joe, Raul. Looking forward to tonight's live. You got it, man. You got it. Slicky Bakery, salute, y'all. Nothing but love, man. Leanne Marie Scott, happy Friday, everyone. D. Taylor, happy Friday. QBN family. Anthony McCausland, nutrition for sure. All right. And Sarata says, yes, I agree with the episode with Joe from MWA. Was really good. Yeah, really, really cool guy, really down to earth. Joe reached out to me, man, I want to say it was about a year ago when we brought him on the live. I actually went on his show and I have I keep it real, man. If you invite me on your live, I'm going to invite you on mine. By the way, if you're seeing a little dirty thing here, I had Fireball licking up on me right before we went live. So sorry, guys. Anyways, I love to, as a form of gratitude, I like to bring him back on here. And man, let me tell you, whether it's on his live over there or over here, we have a ball. I already gave him the invite when I was on his live. Hopefully he'll come on over and we could have a good talk. Anthony McCausland, nutrition for sure. Okay. How important the mother is. Colorado, says D. Taylor. Okay, let me know your states. Let me know your state, city, and country if you're outside of the U.S. Adam Fields, seeing you got a shipment in. Who's the lucky female? Adam Fields, man. Like, I can't put nothing past you, man. You quiet over there, twiddling your thumbs, but you're watching everything that's going on. Well, I'll tell you what, man. Since you mentioned, we got a shipment from this guy right here. You guys already know what I think about him. I think he's absolutely the walking standard. And we went ahead and put him on our girl Ali. Okay. Now it's going to take 28 days before we could, verify pregnancy. But we're excited, man. I'm not going to lie to you. We're super excited. And so I'll tell you all this for those of you that are paying attention. We have another shipment coming in tomorrow from this guy right here, but I'm not going to tell you who the lucky female is until we get confirmation. That's how we're going to roll with it. All right, man. We got Anthony McCausland, Colorado Springs, Colorado. Oh, Colorado already got 2 people up in here. All right. Leanne Marie Scott, Traverse City, Michigan. Boogie's Bully Camp. All right. We got Mandy Williams Pickett, Columbus, Georgia. Good evening. All right. Southeast. All right. Inserata says, I learned a lot about nutrition that caused me issues my first year. Let's be a little bit more specific, Inserata. You've been around the block now for a minute. You've been on my lives forever and a day. I love your support. Couldn't thank you enough. Let's get into specifics. Let's talk about it. All right, let's talk about it. Let's get these young people or new people watching us. Let's give them a little insight. Yes, enjoyed that NWA live last Tuesday. Good deal, man. I appreciate it. Okay, so look, let me just say this. I was in my home state of Florida. Actually, Texas is my home state. In my original home state of Florida, and I went over there, and it was kind of like a bittersweet type of scenario. Hung out with my family. You know how that is. My mom was there. Took my niece to Epcot Center. We had a ball, man. I'm not going to lie. But there's also some other things I had to tend to while I was there. And unfortunately, I couldn't go on live. I'm sure you guys could understand. Davidson K9 says, whooping box is 100% necessary. Okay. So give me a little something more, Davidson. Why is it 100% necessary? Give me a little insight. How did you find that out? Did you, I don't know, not have a whelping box? Did you just let them female get a corner of a room or something? Give me a little bit more insight. Tricon Bully says, I've learned with 90% of pockets are just cousins. Nobody has that many outcrosses or real foundation bloodline that nobody else has like that. Wow. You see, this is a comment right here. This is deep. This is deep. And you know what? Until just a little over a year ago, I take it back. I had Daisy Duke. So you could go back maybe about 2.5, 3 years ago. I never had a pocket in my camp. So hearing this, believe it or not, it goes both ways. Guys, I've never professed to say I know everything. What I have professed is my experience. I'm going to share it with you. And if you notice, Tricon Bullies is doing exactly that. That's what tonight is about. So we can help the new guy or even educate the old guy like me about anything. And in this case, he's talking about pockets, man. So I appreciate it, Tricon. Sebastian Cruz says, what's the best way to get rid of ear mites? Ear mites. Wow. Man, it's funny. I just dropped a short and a video talking about yeast infection in the ears. In fact, I'm going to give you guys a little insight that you guys already know if you watch my video, but nonetheless, Lotrimin is my go-to, right? If my natural anti-yeast is not working, I'm going to go to this. And this stuff, okay, clotrimazole. Let me see if y'all can see it without it blurring too much. Maybe not. Anyways, it's called clotrimazole. And this stuff, vets, they prescribe it left and right. Now, what's the difference between this, in my opinion, and what they're prescribing? This is going to run you about $17. What they're prescribing is going to run you about $80. And this right here will easily last me a year to a year and a half. The amounts that I put in my dog ear, if I'm going to use it, is going to be just a piece worth. the way we do it is we actually clean our dog's ear with natural solutions that we make. Basic water. One of them is oregano. The other one's lemon. The other one, chamomile, and also green tea. And with that, we'll go ahead and clean the inside of the ears, make sure everything is nice and dry. Once we know everything is nice and dry, then we'll just get a little pea-sized worth, put in one ear, put in the other, rub it in there, and repeat once a week. If it's really that bad, you might do it twice a week. So Sebastian Cruz, this is obviously for fungus. This is or yeast. For mites, man, I've never had mites, so I can't sit in the ear. So I can't really sit here and try to act like, you know, I know it all, because I don't. But more likely than not, I would probably research my oregano spray or chamomile or green tea, because they have antibacterial and antifungal properties, and a lot of times that will afflict. Also, maybe even making a garlic tea. Yes, garlic. It's anti-parasitic, man. So I would probably look into going in that direction. You're gonna have to research that one. Freddie Streamer says, "What's up, Bully fam?" Oh, something else I have used on occasions, and I'm going to tell you why on occasions here in a second. It's also Desenex. Yeah, the foot spray, right? Antifungal foot spray. Well, guess what the main ingredient is? Meconazole, right? Which is another antifungal ingredient. And the beauty of this is you can actually do this, put it on the dog. I had to use it years ago. I want to say about 7 years ago. I had a dog that was getting ringworm. And I ended up putting this on him just out of so many things that we were trying at the time. And 3 days later, all of a sudden, there's no ringworms anywhere. Then my biggest problem was I had tried so many different things that I didn't know that this was the thing that was doing it until I had to do the process of elimination. I have another product I'm going to show you guys here in a second that can also be used. We got Moises. Sup, bro? Nothing much. Fredia, I didn't mean to skip your comment. What's up, Bully fam? Happy Friday, guys. Hope all is well, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Dracula Kennel, UK, Romania, in the his eye. All right, Adam Fields cracking up. Moy says, Stab Junior Oliveira is New York Bronx in the house. All right. Guys, K9, what's up, fam? Finally made it on time. There you go, man. Malachi, Hector. All right. Phoenix, Arizona in Saratha. We got Jaira Grimm saying, what's up? Tell you what, whoever drops the most in-depth comment tonight of what we should have known then that we know now, I'm going to give you a free spin on that wheel. And you might just, you know, if the wheel is nice to you, you might end up with some Nuvet NuJoint DS free on the house. All right. So drop those comments, man. Let's make this one count tonight. We got Butter and family from Kansas. We got He Going to Sunshine, says Jaira Graham. Oh, Jaira Graham. Jaira Graham. Yeah. All right, Jaira. All right, guys, K9 says first litter I've ever had was in a blue pool. You know, the funny thing, guys, K9, is when I do breedings, I use the blue kiddie pools, the big ones. In fact, I use 3 of them, right? I have 2 outside that are clean and already sun-dried and the whole shebang bang, ready to go. And I got the ones where the dogs are with the female is with the puppies. So if she lets out too much, you know, out the rear, you know, they get rid of the meconium and all that, or it just gets a little too sloppy, or you have females a little bit too lazy or whatever, then it's just too simple to just switch it out. We have this little box where we have a nice towel, and underneath the towel, we have a heating pad. We get it nice and warm. We put the puppies there. We take it out. Mom follows wherever the puppies are. We take out the pool. Literally, it's a 1-minute procedure, the whole thing. So I just throw it out there because I know a lot of people will get this nice whelping box, and there's nothing wrong with that. and set it up, and you have, blankets and this, that, and the third, and it all gets pretty much dirty. So just throwing that out there for you. Mr. Arthur says, my girl Nimbus had allergies to her kibble as a pup. The vet recommended Hillside's diet that he sold did not help. Then he told me to put her on chicken and rice, and she got hives. There you go. There you go. First make the sale, and then, I don't know. D. Taylor says how important nutrition is, how important supplements are, how important it is to have like-minded, interested people, to love your dog, not love money and breed issues, how important vinegar is and its uses. Wow, that's deep. It's deep. I mean, nutrition is so powerful. It is so powerful. I don't care if your dog, if you need your dog to gain muscle. I don't care if you have a puppy. I don't care if you have an older dog. I don't care if you have a female coming in heat. Nutrition is going to be crucial in any type of life, in any life stage that the dog is in. And a lot of the problems that are caused, we cause it without knowing a lot of times because of the foods that we're feeding and the things that are in those foods that are actually causing allergies. Gout in dogs. What? Gout? Yep. Bladder stones. Tumors, cancer. Yeah, man. Yeah, it gets ugly fast. Moises Stab Jr. says how to get rid of bad breath on dogs. There you go, man. A little cilantro, dipped in a little coconut oil never hurt anybody, right? Dracula Kennel says, I lost my female last week after the breeding. Wow. I am sorry to hear that, Dracula Kennel. Man, I know what it's like to lose a dog, and it's never good, irregardless what the circumstance is, man. So my heart goes out to you, bro. Seaton 146. What's the recommended age to breed your female for the first time? So Seaton, I'm glad you brought up that question, because I'm going to say something tonight. And, here's the thing, guys. This is a process of evolution when you're a breeder. When you first start, a lot of these things that you're hearing now for the first time, it takes time for them to sink in, but eventually when they sink in, you understand the whys and the twos, right? You start connecting the dots. So I'm going to say this. When I first started breeding, I was breeding my females at 1.5 years. No issues, man. I would say it was a good 80 to 90% rate. Out of 10 females I would breed, 8 or 9 would get pregnant by their second heat, right? With time, I decided I want to change this up, and I want to make it 2 years, because I did have 2 females that were immature, okay? Both physically, because they weren't producing milk, and mentally. One of them, after she had the pups, looked at me like, what do we do now, right? She just wasn't ready up there. And so I decided, look, I'm going to go ahead and only breed once the females hit 2 years old. Then I was having a conversation today with Money Mike. He's my co-host. He comes on live every Monday. He just dropped a litter, Creek Bank Kennels. If you don't know, you need to check it out, right? The People's Litter, nothing but love. He's actually setting up a litter for the late Trayvon Mobley and his family. Long story short, I was talking to him, and I said, Mike, for the last 3 years, I've been having a little bit of issues with my females coming, getting pregnant and whatnot. And I'm wondering if it has more to do with the fact that wolves out in the wild, right? So when wolves are out in the wild, and I'm not going to draw, I'm just going to put letters so you can understand. Alpha male will breed to alpha female, right? And then you're going to have several beta females, right? And I'm drawing this out so you guys can understand me a little better. So in this made up scenario of mine, we're going to have 1 alpha male, 1 alpha female, and 4 beta females, right? So what ends up happening is, hold on, my bad, they're over here on this side. What ends up happening is only the alpha female and the alpha male are going to breed. So what are these beta females for, you would think? Well, the beta females, what happens is they're all going to go into a false pregnancy, right? Listen to this, how nature works. They're all going to go into a false pregnancy, and in doing so, they're going to produce milk. Listen to this, right? So all these betas, they're going to go into a false pregnancy, and they're going to produce milk. Why? Once this alpha female gives birth, she maybe not right away, but sooner or later, she's going to have to go and feed, right? She's going to have to go, not necessarily make the kill, but definitely go out there and feed. And while she's doing so, these beta females, every single one of them, becomes a surrogate mother to those puppies, right? So what ends up happening is these beta females are constantly triggering each other to go and heat and whatnot. Long story short, it is my, how do I say that? Suspicion. That's the best way to say it. It is my suspicion that once 2 years have gone by and they haven't been impregnated, it becomes a little bit more difficult because their bodies, got to keep in mind, the whole heat cycle and everything is completely hormonal. Their bodies may have gotten used to, this is going to be another false pregnancy. Again, guys, I can't say it 100% for sure, but I will say I've been having a harder time with females getting pregnant at 2 years of age and forward than I ever did at 1.5. It just is what it is. So I'm just sharing that with you. Don Williams DuPont, is it gyno-lotrimin? No, it's not gyno-lotrimin, which, by the way, I wouldn't be surprised if it worked. But if you notice, here it is. I don't know if y'all can read it, but it says Lotrimin AF, right? Which is for athlete's foot. I'm sorry, antifungal. My apologies. Is for antifungal, but no, I didn't get it specifically for that. Christina Higginson, hello, sir. Happy Friday, Miss Christina Higginson. Thank you for joining us. Nothing but love. This is Mike Higginson's lovely wife, and I'm sure she's helping him out with the pups right now. Adam Field says, I can attest to it working and being way cheaper than the one the vets prescribe. Same ingredients. Yeah, clotrimazole is going to be clotrimazole is going to be clotrimazole. Insurata says, oh, so sorry for your loss, Dracula. That's so sad. Yeah. V. Ferreira showing appreciation by hitting that. Oh, look, V, I was trying to show off, man, and I just killed it, man. I just killed it. Let me do this. Yeah, right here. Like, and subscribe right there. Nothing but love, man. Nothing but love. Thank you, V. Appreciate you, man. Let's go to the next comment over here. We got EJ saying, I'm sorry to hear Dracula, prayers. Thank you. All right, man. My dog is losing a lot of fur and having skin issues. Okay. But what do you know now that you wish you knew then when you first stepped into owning dogs or breeding? Happy Friday. Hello, family. You got it. Adam Fields, Romania in the house. What's up, Dracula Kennel? Sean Wheeler, I took Rip to the vet this week. He was 100% healthy. They charged me $450, and I asked why so much. And they said because he's a big dog. All right. That's wow. Here's the thing, man. And you know, let me tell you all this. I didn't know this until I became a nurse. But, you know, it is my opinion that the majority of the doctors I came across while I was a nurse had alternative motives in order of priority before the patient's health. Let me give you an example. If you're a practicing physician, one of the things you have to worry about, I guess, you're a doctor and lawsuits, right? So they would, in my opinion, prioritize not getting sued, right? And then the next thing in priority is how to get paid. And then we're getting to the health part. Well, it doesn't surprise me in any way, shape, or form that vets do pretty much the same thing, because they're human beings at the end of the day, guys. Malachi says, Tricon, I believe there has been a consistent winning formula with pockets. You will see the same dogs in champions and grand champions. Should there be more outcross if the outcome is consistent, says Malachi? Okay, Tricon, you're getting challenged. Carmel and Cheek, Raul, you the man. Hey, I'm the man after you, man. Number love. Chaparro Luz, we always appreciate your information videos from Florida. There you go. The big F, man. Number love. Christian, Christian Irajeta. Sorry, bro. What's up, guys? Number love, bro. Michael Higgins said, what's up, my brother? Been a long few days for us over here at Creek Bank Kennels. I know, man. When I talked to you today, you sounded like you were recovering, but what was it, a night ago or 2 nights ago? It sounded, man, like you had just ran a marathon. Martin Garcia, my dog had GI surgery and popped a stitch. They gave me mupirocin ointment, which worked great for healing open wounds, I guess. Any alternatives to keep on hand just in case? Martin Garcia, I don't know so much as far as such an open wound, okay, but I will share this with you. One of the things we have used that is completely natural and it really helps with wounds, like, and I'm not talking about like, you know, your dog got sliced by a surgeon. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, you know, your dog got a little cut or something, maybe even a little deeper than a little cut, but no more than that, is guava leaves. Guava leaves are super powerful antibacterial, antifungal. Literally, you know, we'll rub it up on there. Then I'll come with my guava leaf spray, of course, and we're going to spray it on there. And I mean, within a couple of days, it's gone. Also, dogs have tremendous healing powers. I mean, I'm sure we can all attest to that. The other thing, too, is Cuban oregano leaves. Yeah, and I say Cuban oregano because I don't think you're supposed to eat that stuff. That's how powerful it is. It's really powerful. Again, everything I say is what I use in my yard. You definitely want to do the research. And obviously, if your dog shows any type of allergies to anything anybody shares, stop immediately, obviously, because dogs can be allergic to just about anything. Ray Cabatuando, can you show the cream again for yeast infection? Yes. Lotramin. Lotramin. Yes, sir. AF. Let it zoom in a little bit. There you go. Lotramin AF, clotrimazole cream, antifungal. It's only 1%. That's all you need. And the amount I put in my dog ears is literally a pea size worth. If it's a bigger dog, like 100, 120 pound dog, I might put 2, you know, all depending. But also before you put this in the ear, you got to clean what's in there out. Otherwise, you're not going to do nothing, okay? So that's why I suggest you guys go to my channel. My latest video shows you how we clean it in there and how we put the ointment in. You can't just put it at the very top of the ear. You got to go in deep, and you got to massage it, right? So there you have it, man. Leocadio Vasquez, what's good, fam? From Fresno Bulldogs. What's up, man? Adam Fields says, Creek Bank Kennel, what's up? Number love. Malachi, Michael, Puppies looking cute as ever. Yes, they are. Christian Irajeta, that's what I have to a blue kiddie pool. Only thing is what bedding recommended for a whelping area. So on the kiddie pool, right, you don't want that slippery slide going on. Excuse me, because puppies are pushing off their back legs, and if it continues to slide, it could end up causing hip dysplasia. There is a difference of opinion in the veterinary industry. It's more like 70-30, not 50-50. And it's never going to be 50-50 because these guys, they go to veterinary school and they don't realize until maybe after that, you know, like big pharma, such a big and rich industry that they may donate a library to the school In return, they want you to use these particular books in your curriculum. And, you know, what do you think the book is going to be teaching? You think the book's going to be teaching you that garlic is anti-parasitic, antiviral, antibacterial, and it's good for dogs? No. And definitely don't feed raw either, right? So you can understand why there is a division, and also naturally there's going to be a division in opinion. But some veterinarians, I would say about 30% of them, believe that hip dysplasia is not genetic and is caused because of the environment. So if you have them on a slippery surface, you may end up causing this, right? So what I do is I get a little rubber mat that I buy over here at the dollar store. I throw it up in there. I make sure that my dog's being supervised, you know, because she may want to go gnaw on it. So you got to scold her a time or two just for her not to do it. And then once that's done, she won't go at it again. And then the puppies now have grip, right, to push off their back legs and whatnot and not cause hip dysplasia. So Davidson K9 says, I wish we knew to let some females relax with the pups for a couple of days so she doesn't stress out and do something negative to the pups. Huh? What do you mean? You should have the puppies with the mama. That is, I mean, unless mom is showing, you know, tendencies. I will say I have been asked, right? So here, let's do another little drawing here. So there's this hormone that's called oxytocin, right? Oxytocin, right? And what that hormone does is, first of all, and please don't make fun of my drawing, it's going to make the uterus, and I'll write uterus so you know what I'm talking about. It'll make the uterus contract, right? It'll make the uterus contract. That's the first thing that oxytocin does. So once oxytocin is released, the uterus is going to begin contraction. Then, once the first puppy comes out, and I'm going to draw a nipple here, right? Once the first puppy comes out, and they start suckling, what's going to happen is there's going to be a release, right? This is a nipple. I know my drawing's horrible. That's a nipple. And when the puppy, you know, starts chewing off of that, it's going to make her release oxytocin, right? Which is going to cause more contractions. And that's how all of a sudden, you know, she was in active labor for 12 hours and didn't give birth. And now she's popping them out every half hour. This is part of the process, right? But oxytocin, all right, oxytocin also creates, well, oh man, that's the worst looking heart I've ever done in my life. There you go. Right? Also creates bonding between the mama dog and the puppies. Sorry for my heart, guys. Right? Bonding for the puppies. So now that you understand everything I just told you, now let me explain to you what happens when you take mama dog, right? You take mama dog and they, let me do a better drawing. And they open her up and they take the puppies out, right? I'm just going to do this and just put little balls for the puppies, man, because my drawing is horrible. So you take mama dog in, obviously they're gonna cut her up, and then they're gonna take the puppies out, right? Right. So did mama dog get to release all that oxytocin? No, she didn't release the oxytocin. So what happens is, because oxytocin is the bonding hormone or the love hormone, she is initially not going to have it. Sorry, this thing stopped drawing on me. All right, so she's initially not going to have it. So when she initially doesn't have it, going to take a minute for that thing to kick in. You better supervise her around those puppies because she's going to be in extreme pain and she might bite a pup. So that's when I've seen mama dogs want to do something silly. And it's not even their fault. They're coming out of anesthesia. They're not thinking straight. They don't have the hormones they need to have. And there's not a bonding effect between them and the pups. And a puppy may get bit. This is why it's important that you're there with her for the, at least 12 hours post-surgery, right? Make sure everything is going how it's supposed to be going, all right? Anthony McCausland, the kibble is way too expensive for what it is. Absolutely. Even if they were selling it for $1. Queen's New Blood. All right, Queen's New Blood. Yo, you got it. Okay. Females, okay. Christian Iraheta, correction, is betting recommended? I believe I already answered that with a rubber mat. K. Senior Williams, what about kennel cough? Well, listen, I've had kennel cough in my yard, and it spreads like wildfire. All it takes is for you to take a dog to your vet, and obviously sick dogs go there, and your dog picks it up, brings it back, and spreads it. Now, I've had all my dogs get the kennel cough shot, which, again, it's like a dart in the wind, right? I guess there's different versions of it as far as the affecting pathogen, and so you're getting a shot for the most common ones, and then my dogs get afflicted with the least, right? But long story short, the beauty of kennel cough is as fast as it comes in, I've experienced, it goes right back out. That's what I've noticed. I've had it where I've had a dog come here, and within 2 days, la-di-da-di, everybody's coughing. And I'm like, oh my God, right? I will say this. If you have a dog, if I have to take a dog to the vet, for example, and we just literally bred Ali 2 days ago, I will not, under any circumstance, have that dog near her. So if she's in the kennel area, that dog's going to be in the house. If she's going to be in the house, then that dog needs to go to the kennel area. I will not put him anywhere near because that thing will spread and it can affect so many different things. Adam Fields, Anthony McCausland says, my question, Anthony, you need to put it all together for me. Adam Fields, nutrition and environment. All right. Let me see. What can you feed your dog for bad breath? Cilantro. A little coconut oil and cilantro. Make sure you heat the coconut oil. Not too hot. Just enough to put it on there. And put it on there. There's so many different things that can cause bad breath for a dog. So if your dog has tartar buildup because you've been feeding kibble, yeah, you might want to put them on raw so the chicken bones and the chicken quarters could actually start doing the scratching action for you and start clearing a lot of that stuff for you. The other thing that we do for that one of the reasons our dogs don't have bad breath, I mean, we do all those things. But the other reason is Nuvet NuJoint DS. Green bottles, multivitamin, blue bottle is joint support. Keep in mind, our ordering code is 513237. You get 13% off with auto ship. The beauty about Nuvet NuJoint DS, guys, look, it has everything your dog needs. Vitamin A, E, C, phosphorus, potassium, zinc, calcium, selenium. It has a bunch of other stuff here. Like here, let me shoot it at you. Vitamin B3, B12, vitamin D, vitamin K, magnesium, iron, copper, amino acids. I mean, it has everything your dog needs. The beauty of this is once you start giving it, you're going to start noticing the dogs absorbing more of the foods that you're already feeding. Why is that important, Raul? Well, if your dog starts consuming 10% more of the food you're feeding, you can literally lower that. And if you do the numbers for the year, you're going to realize it saves you money as far as what you're feeding. So I know a lot of you are feeding that cheap kibble bag, right? So let me show you something. Maybe not the cheapest one, but one of the cheaper or higher up than the cheaper. So let's call it $50, right? Let's call it $50. $50 bag of kibble, right? And your dog goes through that bag of kibble, goes through one bag a week. So we're going to go ahead and multiply 50 by 52. So we're going to do the math here for you, and you'll see what I'm going to be talking about. So we got 50 times 52, and we're going to use our handy dandy calculator because my memory's full. So 50 times 52. It's a total of $2,600 a year you're spending on trash, pure trash. And that's what I think kibble is. That's just my opinion. So think about this for a minute. If Nuvet is helping you consume 10% more of what you're already feeding, that means it's going to save you. I don't know what's wrong with this thing. Let me go to another one. It's going to save you $260 a year. Okay, this one works even worse. All right, let's go back here. Oh boy. Just when you're trying to explain something, these things happen, right? So there we go. $260 a year. This is what you're saving, right? $260 a year per dog, right? That's not shabby if you really think about it, because Nuvet comes in 90-day supply. If you notice, it's got 90 chewable wafers, and NuJoint DS has 120 chewable wafers and is weight-based. I tell people to get 2 of these and 1 of these so that your dog is covered for 90 days. Now, here's the kicker. How much do those 2 things together cost? They cost about $1.60, right? So at the end of the year, you're looking at roughly, what's $1.60? $1.60 times 365. So you're looking at $584, and you offset that price by the amount of food that your dog's going to be that 10% more that they're going to be absorbing. And so we're going to go ahead and subtract the 260 from that 584, and it comes out to 324. You divide that by 365 days in a year, and you're looking at 88 cents a day. That's not shabby at all, man. And it guarantees your dog has the vitamins, minerals, balances them out. This way, they don't have to borrow from Peter to pay Paul. So just keep that in mind. Also, NuJoint DS, the blue bottle, is going to help with joint support. Christina Higginson says, if I have a comment, Raul Fagundes, of what we know now, we didn't know then. Having a new litter really is like having a newborn baby. Absolutely. From the delivery to the first days home as new parents. I couldn't agree with you more. Also with, being hyper vigilant and, just being on top of them. Lack of sleep, the whole 9. Tricon Bully says, for new people, I would tell them focus on making their own bloodline by breeding pockets and or even micro to create a new lane, then breed well-known blood that healthy, that they like, then build off of it. That's healthy, I guess. Yeah, that's why I talk about genetic testing as much as I do. Irregardless whether we like it or not, we're all breeding communities are slowly heading in that direction. I give it about a couple of years before everybody has to do it. Otherwise, you're not going to sell a dog. Queen's New Blood says, my bad, I don't breed till a year and a half, 2 or 2 years old. Yeah, I'm starting to think that maybe waiting a little too long may cause a couple of complications, is what I'm starting to believe. Kel says, I think we change it up a bit. These are your common topics. Outside of all this, heat and feet, scarring and oxygen, and or frozen feet, healing. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm not sure what your question is. I guess if your dogs have been outside and either too much heat and scarring and all that, and they got frozen feet, taking a dog out in too cold of weather when they're going to be walking on snow, make sure you get doggy boots, man. Definitely you want to get some sort of moisturizer on there, maybe even a little coconut oil, just something natural to also help. Malachi says Tricon understood, but there is already many new lanes where we face the issue of, are you breeding to the standard or to just what you like? Either is okay, but people expect their vision to win. Let me give you my 2 cents on that. I think that you can breed within the standard without necessarily breeding to the most popular lines, period. Now, this is coming from an XL breeder who is now coming down to standards and coming down to pockets, right? But what I have found is when you look, when you look behind the curtain and get away from all the hype and all these breeders, oh, I'm a phenotypical breeder, yeah, whatever, get out the way. When you get all that out the way and you start looking at individual breeders, man, some of the best breeders out there breeding absolutely gorgeous pups don't have the popularity that big breeders have. It's just a fact. And I'm not sure if it's that same way across other breeds. I'm a betting man, and I'm willing to put my money that more likely than not, it is the same way there. El Troquero Taquero, much love from Soledad, Cali. There you go, man. Freddie Strevia says, I like my females to be mentally ready. That may take a little longer. That's fair. I think your females have to be mentally ready before you put them through labor. Otherwise, you're going to kill the entire litter. You're going to kill yourself in the process. You could even kill the female. So, yes, I agree with that. Anthony McCall said, my oldest female is 10 in spade, but my new pup is 8 months. Planning to breed with my male. I'm going to have issues with my oldest being that she is an alpha. The pup does try to challenge her. Ooh, yeah. You're going to have your hands full on that one. Tricon bullies. No, I'm saying if new people didn't want to breed into hype or dogs that everyone is breeding to, then they can start their own wave if they want to with combos like how I explained. That's fair, man. That's fair. I'm one of those people that I don't like following the trend. I don't. I feel that trends, especially in the breeding world, and y'all can hate me for my way of seeing things, but I feel that trends are the fastest way to lead you to the slaughterhouse, lead the sheep to the slaughterhouse. I am one of them people that if everyone's heading in that direction, I definitely want to take a look at what's going on over there first before I just follow everybody else. It's just me, man. Christian Idaheda, protocol strikes again. Oh, yeah, you know, the veterinary protocol. You know what that means. Mike Hannigan, salute, Raul. How you doing, brother? Nice to see you, man. Kel says, I will tell you, goat milk is an amazing supplement, especially for skin conditions. However, avoid lanolin market condition. Okay, thanks for throwing that in there. Cheeto says, learn to use what you got if you can't afford it, because you will spend money and will keep wanting better if you really love this. Also, watch QBN before going to the vet. He's cracking up. All right, man. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. You got to realize, guys, you know, my platform, I share with you guys my experiences, what I've been through. It doesn't mean it's going to help everybody out there. But even if it helps one person out there, I've set out my goal to at least help out that one person. And I really hope, guys, that whatever you learn here, you pay it forward, man. Tell it to the other guy. You know what I'm saying? Adam Field says, unless it's your trusted repro, repro vet, always play dumb. If vets know you have money, they will charge you more. This is so true. Think about it. When you're walking through the door, that vet already knows if they're, you know, unethical and whatnot. They're already going to know the type of dog you're bringing in and the condition you're bringing them in, whether it's an expensive dog or not. And it's just a matter of time before they start finding the long ways of fixing the problem, right? And here's what's crazy. So a thief, right? A thief breaks into a house. He gets caught stealing whatever. He's going to jail for a very long time. there is no way, in absolutely no way, in proving that a vet is stealing from you by making you go the long ways of fixing something, because they're going to say that's basically their veterinary advice. That's how they think it should be fixed, and that's it. It's a license. And I'm not saying all vets are like that. I've come across some very good vets that will tell me, hey man, you know what, go get some $10 Lotrimin, put a pea size in there, make sure to clean the ear, and you're good. I'm just giving an example. All right. It has happened. I got to be fair. What's your thoughts on the 2-in-1 method? Inbreed, line breed, or inbreed then outcross? That's an excellent question. I will tell you this, guys, K9, my approach has changed a lot. We got breedings coming. I pivoted last year, got rid of a lot of dogs, brought in a lot of new dogs, and we're getting ready to rock and roll. I can tell you, I don't know how long you've been watching me, but I'm into genetics and I'm into coefficient of inbreeding. And I'm also learning what falls where that gives what, right? Those of you that have been following me long enough, you're going to remember this little screen I'm going to put on there. And that's nothing more than the chromosomes with the orange marker showing the homozygosity, meaning identical pairs. And you're going to see the little red and blue dots and purple dots and little yellow dots here and there. And where that homozygosity falls, where it's got those little tiny squares or whatnot, they all signify something, right? What's the significance of it? Some things are what they call pathways. Some of those pathways may be for musculature, other for more bone, and that sort of thing. So to answer your question, I think this method right here can be good, has been good in the past for breeders. But I think if you're able to do a genetic test, it's going to reveal a little bit more for you. Because let me explain something to you. You can get a program online that will give you a predictive COI, or coefficient of inbreeding, which tells you how tight a blood is. However, the predictive COI, say it says it's 30%. That's for the entirety of the litter. Okay. There's going to be some pups in there that are going to have a COI of 37. There's going to be some pups in there that are going to have a COI of 23. That pup that has a COI of 37, you're not going to inbreed again, right? You're probably not even going to want to line breed, because you're just going to take it too far, where puppies start getting smaller, litters get smaller, diseases or pathologies start popping up. So the way around that is, if you have a dog with a COI of 37, you might want to outcross. But that pup that's at 23, right? You still have a very good possibility of line breeding, and you still got room to tighten it up, right? You might not want to line breed them to a dog that's at 37, but maybe another one that's around 27. It wouldn't be the worst thing. So it's one of those questions where it's kind of like a tip of the iceberg question for me, because what you're following is a rule of thumb that was set by breeders back in the days when we didn't have the tools we have now. But now with the tools we have present, I don't know. I don't know if you could just follow a rule of thumb for everything, is what I'm trying to say. Rachel Kerr says, what leaves? Did you say guava? Yes, guava. They're high in antibacterial and antifungal compounds. So too is Cuban oregano. Trust me, that stuff is very strong. Carmelo and Chica, athlete's foot. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I thought it was athlete's foot, but no, AF is for antifungal. Just so you know. Something else that I saw, and I actually ordered it, and I tried it. I'm always testing things, guys. So I tried this on our rescue, and it worked very well. And it's Duxos 3. Yeah, I guess that's how you say it. Duxos 3 Pio. It's an antifungal and antiseptic. Gave her a bath, cleared the area. We put this on her little hot spot. And man, wouldn't you know it, about a week later, hair had already grown there. You could almost not even tell that there was anything going on. Martin Garcia says, yes, sir. Thank you. Just a small wound, 1 stitch, not deep. Yeah. Guava leaves and if Cuban oregano, I would even combine them, lower the water content so that you get, good, strong amount. That's what I would put on there. Now I would keep my eye on it, make sure it stays nice and pink, because pink means there's no infection. If there's anything oozing out of it, or if it's turning red, then man, you're gonna have to change gears real quick. Okay. Most hated native, what's going on, man? Greetings, nothing but love, man. Dubtown says, American Bully breed. Oh, my dude, Jerry James. Let me tell you, Jerry James, you were born with a famous person's name from the get, brother. I love that name, bro. What's up, fellas? Nothing but love, man. Slicky Baker says, have you heard about medical grade Manuka honey for treating dog wounds? I have heard about it. I am going to be making more research about it. Now, I'm not going to go and give one of my dogs a wound to see if this thing works, right? But I may just buy it, have it on standby. They love to run around in our by our mounds area, and a lot of times, like for example, I don't know if it happens to you guys in your neck of the woods, but here we get these little 5-minute miniature tornado, hurricane, perfect storm type of deals where branches and everything are falling, and then literally it goes away and the sun comes back up. So when I let them out, they go run around. They every now and then they're not paying attention. They'll get cut up by a branch or something that fell. I might just try it then. Troquero Taquero, when changing from kibble to raw, how long more or less will it take for a dog to get acclimated? Listen, what I do is say you're serving a Nuvet Plus bottles worth of kibble to your dog every day. So what I do is I'll go down 10%, right? And that 10% of kibble I went down, I'm going to add raw. And tomorrow, we're going to go from 10 to 20% on kibble, and we're going to add 20% raw, and so on and so forth. So it could take 10 days. Sometimes it could take, because while you're doing that, you're going to be seeing how they're pooping, right? If after 5 or 6 days they're doing fine, then you pretty much crossed them over and didn't know it. Now, in preparation to doing that, I do suggest you feed probiotics like either kefir, sauerkraut, sour cream, something in there, so that you could get the good bacteria in there. Because when you're feeding kibble has such crappy fillers, right, that are high in sugars and whatnot. And what happens is it'll change the biome, right, the bacteria that you got going on in the gut. That's the reason why when you feed real food raw, they're gonna have diarrhea, because the bacteria they got there is not the type that you need to break down real food. So make sure to protect your dog by giving them kefir first for maybe 3 or 4 days before you begin this process, right? Kel says slipping is swimming disease, which I'm only convinced diseases are created by bad science and vet pushing. Okay, hey, I can respect that, man. Here's the deal, man. That's why I say there's good vets and there's bad vets. Science is neither good nor bad. It is made good or bad by whomever is behind and whatever their intentions are, right? So if you're a kibble company and you hear me talking about feeding raw, you may come out with a commercial talking about, salmonella scare for, feeding raw and whatnot. Truth of the matter is, about 2 years ago, there was a major recall, over 70 dead dogs due to salmonella because they were being fed kibble. And the salmonella didn't only affect the dogs, it affected the humans too. So my whole point is, it's one of them things where you got to make sure you know who is giving the information or who did the study, so you can understand the agenda that they're trying to bring upon. It's really not science. It's unfortunately humans, trying to manipulate, man. Did the chat stop, says Kel? I'm not sure. Davidson K9, I meant simply to let the females relax with their pups instead of playing with the newborn pups like so many people do, which will stress out mom and possibly cause her to damage the pups. Yeah, no, you don't want to be messing around with the puppies. Also, if you're under the weather or your wife or significant others under the weather, you don't want them touching the puppies. Make sure you got gloves on. Also, you don't want neighbors coming over, family members, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's a time to, just de-stress the female. So I agree with you, Davidson K9. I never said to separate her from the pups. He's cracking up. All right, man. Sometimes the way things are written, man, if you're sitting in my seat, you'll understand. Once I watch the replay, I crack up, but you'll understand if you ever did it. What's cracking, Raul? XL Bullies. Not much, man. Number love, man. Carmelo and Chica says, love the Healthy Cubes video. Yeah. It's funny. Literally, when I went to Florida, we ran out, and my daughter's like, how do I make it? I said, you didn't watch the short? What short? Okay, well, here you go. Here's the link. I sent her the link, and then it was made. So, yeah. And Sarata says, I also didn't know how quickly and easily you can affect growth adversely with too much protein in a puppy's diet. Yes, supplements can easily put it over into knuckling over it, but cured fast too. Yes, the protein I have found, especially with large breed, medium to large breed, too much protein in their diet will cause the soft tissue to be softer or looser or not as tight or strong. And that will lead to pasturing issues and other issues for that matter. Thanks for bringing that up. Kyle Martin says, one thing I've learned is I preferred cropped ears. From my perspective, less infection. Is cropping part of the bully breed standard New Hampshire? No. You could have dogs that are not cropped. What is the bully standard for sure is the rose ears. But if you do have cropped ears, it doesn't count against you. I made a video years ago saying that it was straight BS, that if you had floppy ears, you would have more ear infections. I stand on that. And the reason I stand on that is because I feel there's other variables that will affect or cause ear infections a lot more than just having floppy ears. I went and visited California about 3 years ago. I delivered a pup over there. On my way back, there was a guy that followed me heavily in, there's a city in New Mexico. I forget the name. Anyways, I went to New Mexico. Every single one of his dogs, he had like 13 dogs, all floppy ears. I look in their ears. Ears are all dirty. He doesn't clean their ears. Not one of them had an ear infection, just dirt and grime and whatever, but no ear infections. Why? Because there was little to no humidity in the air. So humidity is truly a primary cause. Now, if you say floppy ears, you could have more of a tendency in a humid area. I couldn't disagree with you with that. I really couldn't. Brushing the teeth naturally with chicken quarters. That's it. Ira Lawman, good evening. Sorry I'm late, but I'm here. Lawman, number love, man. Anthony McCausland. So back to my original question. My male dog has been finicky eater since he was a pup. Long story short, I started giving him raw food. He ate the red meat, but wouldn't eat the chicken. Anthony, there's two ways you can go about that, in my opinion. Okay, you can do the old school way, kind of like I do. I mean, I got to be straight up with you. My dogs, they got about 5 minutes to finish what's in front of them. If you didn't finish, it's going to get picked up and you're not going to be fed till the next feeding, right? So, and I'll do it with puppies too. And you would think, oh man, you're being ruthless. No, I'm not being ruthless. You can inadvertently reinforce a negative behavior or a negative habit by allowing them to get away with that, right? Instead, you use their natural biology against them, especially when they're puppies, right? Their metabolism is going 100 miles per hour. They need to eat to keep up. They want to get finicky on something. Then they realize, they didn't get to eat. somewhere in their brain and their consciousness, it's when you get finicky, you don't get fed, right? Because the last thing you want to do is to baby that behavior, and then you end up with a full-grown dog that's giving you all sorts of issues when it's time to eat. What do I recommend? Okay, so here's where you're going to think I'm going to sell you something, but I'm not. Whether it's Nuvet or some other supplement, the reason I recommend Nuvet is because it's got ingredients in there that will actually make a dog hungry. Okay, make them want to eat. Will activate it. If not, if you can't do that, and I totally understand, you might want to try things like chicken broth and beef broth, bone broth. At that point, man, you're at the dog's mercy as to what they want or don't want. And I hate to wag the finger, but you cost it, right? It is what it is. Lil G says, "What's up? What's up, dude? Keep talk that talk. I love the video. Very educational. No, but love, man. Appreciate you. Listen, guys, do me a favor. Give me a like. Give me a share. Give me some love, right? Let's get this thing. Let's keep it going. YouTube has kind of changed the algorithm. They do it every year. And, if you guys don't share me, don't like me or whatever, algorithm ain't going to push it. In fact, it's funny because about 2 months ago, I did a short and I threw it out there, and a live, and I threw it out there, and I got a bunch of y'all on that live telling me specifically, y'all were showing up late, that you were never notified, right? And so that's how you know YouTube is just playing games, man. It just is what it is. Let me see. Insurata says, I've been breeding after 2 years because of testing, but that makes my program progress much slower. So there's that. Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's progressing slow. First of all, even if you're not doing it that way, there's a process, right? And once you understand coefficient of inbreeding, once you start understanding certain things and you start getting puppies that have the things that you're looking for example, me, a couple of years ago, I was trying to shorten the muzzle, right? But then what females do I keep? They all have a longer muzzle. And then when I started testing, I started realizing I had some females that were short muzzle gene carriers, but they're not showing a short muzzle. They have a longer muzzle. So you breed that to a shorter muzzle male that is carrying 2 genes with a short muzzle. And now 50% of the litter is coming out with a short muzzle gene. And at very worst, the ones that are not coming out with a shorter muzzle are at least short muzzle carriers. Would have never known that had you not tested, right? What to do? Okay. A female should be 2 years before litter. Carmelo and Chica, listen, I share with you my evolution and where I'm at and my experiences, right? And just like I used to do their second heat, which was normally around 1.5 years, and I was hitting on 80-90% of the breedings. Once I upped it to 2, I don't know if you missed that part. You might want to rewind on that part of the video. It kind of seems like I've been getting a little bit more complications. So I'm just throwing that out there. Christian Idaheta says, wouldn't the popular trend be a good start for a first timer? It wouldn't be. It wouldn't be. Think about it. If you're going to be selling the same dog brand everybody's got, you're going to be in a world of hurt, man. And you're also carving yourself out a good piece of competition. If everybody had an orange dog with purple polka dots, and I'm just throwing this out there, and the dog had the same conformation for everybody, and there's 100 of you with that same type of dog, each one of you is going to be marketing, right? And man, let me just tell you, even the person that's marketing the most in that competitive niche or environment is only going to be getting, maybe if they're lucky, 3 to 5% of the market at best, because there's 99 people behind them marketing as well. You see what I'm saying? And that's not only going to bring down the price, it's going to bring down the demand for the dog. which gives you less choices as a breeder to place the dogs in the best home. So yeah, now that's why I don't know, man. I just think differently. Guys, K9 says, been watching you for about a year now. You've been very helpful, especially with the chlorhexidine. No more Frito Factory. There you go, man. There you go. You should check out our barf diet videos too. They should help you. Jerry O Bullies Inc. says, yeah, they see an American Bully and think you got money. They told me today $250 for rabies shot. Man. And Bordetella with nose to tail exam. I think it's overpriced, so looking for a country vet. Yeah, well, hey, listen, you stated your claim. You stated my advice before I even gave it to you. Mr. Roth says, I think the genetics I've learned here have really boosted my knowledge and made me look at breeding and pups differently. Opens door to huge difference other breeders outside of here don't use. Yeah. Here's the thing, guys. I'm saying this, and I'm not saying it arrogantly in any way. It's a fact. When we started talking about genetics here 3.5 years ago, I feel we were about 6.5 years in front of the curve. I think by 2030, people are gonna know what to look for in certain things, but between now and then, they're just not going to know any better, and therefore, I feel like their breeding program is just not going to be as developed. Luis DeMille whipping out his Spanish. Hola, what's going on, man? Christian Idaheta. That reminds me of the King of the Hill episode where Hank adopts a military cat, and the vet sells him the most expensive cat food. Yeah, man. Listen, I've learned in life. It doesn't matter what profession, what person you go to. If you're 100% ignorant, they will break your legs to sell you a crutch. That's just how it's going to go. And so that's why it's important that you learn a little bit, man, and you learn from others and you learn from other people's experiences. Put in a little bit of time. It really goes a long way, man. Carl at Gun Dog in Gun. On the road tonight, listening Lake Greenwood. All right, brother. Number love, man. Queens New Blood says, only problem I had was injuries with ears, probably because up in Ohio, we have less humidity. Oh, okay. So you're saying, I guess the ear either gets too dry and it cracks or something like that. Nadie says, sorry that I'm late. What's the topic for tonight? No, sorry. Catch us on the rerun. Tonight is, we're looking under the hood. What would you have wanted to know back then that you know now? That's what tonight's topic is about. Wendell Gilbert says, what is the best Diamantes powder to use? I'm not sure of your question. I think you're talking about diatomaceous earth. If you are talking about DE, diatomaceous earth, my recommendation is food grade. Okay. And also, even if it is food grade, you want to be careful and not let it get into the dog's nose or eyes or anything like that, because it is caustic and it's going to hurt them. Right. We don't want to cause any pain. So definitely good question. We got up here Nuvet NuJoint DS. Guys, the green bottle, as you know, is nothing more than a multivitamin. And the blue bottle, NuJoint DS, is joint support together. All right. They're going to maximize your dog, not just help correct Westy, okay, because it has done that for us. It's going to help increase the amount of food your dog's already taking in. Your dog's not going to have to nutritionally borrow from Peter to pay Paul or anything like that. All right. We already did the numbers. We looked into it for a year. It comes out to about 88 cents a day after we do the math with the 10% increase in your dog's intake of what they're already eating. Keep in mind, if you do auto ship, you're going to get an additional 13% off, right? I do recommend you do get a green bottle and 2 of the blue bottles. Green bottle is a 90-day supply. Blue bottle is 120 wafers, but it is weight-based, all right? All right. So we got in our lawman says, I live in Baltimore, humidity 90%. Jesus. Man, it's too much. I thought it was high here today in my here in my home was 87%. Nadine says Embark is complete. It tells you everything. I ran out of printer paper. I wouldn't say it tells you everything. There's other things out there. But definitely is the first step in the right direction. I wouldn't take that from them. Carmela Chica says, thank you. Number love. EJ says, did Embark stop the map of each chromosome you were showing us before? Here's what's crazy, EJ. I have seen other people get their Embark after I did that live, and it shows the entire map. As for me, there's no more maps. I've contacted them. They kept saying they're going to get back to me, and here we are. So what I'm thinking is, because of the information on there and what I'm revealing, either they want to come out and say it for themselves, or I don't know, I may be costing them money. Who knows, man? Maybe a lawyer told them to stop it. Let's see. Whoa, I kind of lost my place. Sorry, guys. We got Lil G's. Okay, we did that. I guess he's been repeating the same comment. EJ says that, okay, we answered that. Frida says, I want to emphasize again, please make sure your female's mature enough mentally, guys. That's very important. I agree. If she isn't mentally, then you're going to lose puppies. Yeah, she's going to either sit on them, squish them, not care for them, you name it. Nadine says, do you think that the market is being gutted for the bully breed? I'm not sure of your question. I'm reading it, but I'm not understanding it. Do you think that the market is being gutted for the bully breed? I'm not sure what you're asking. Can you be, or okay, here you said glutted. So what you're saying is there too many bullies running around? I don't think so. I think what's happened is, because so many people got into breeding and just bred whatever and followed the crowd, like we were talking about earlier, I think the buyers are becoming a little smarter, and they don't want to see dogs with a kink tail or with a roach back or underbite, whatever. I think that's what's happening. I think quality will always trump everything. I think that what we're seeing is quantity breeders. It's probably not working out for them. With that being said, I will say I think the market is rebounding. I mean, I couldn't tell you how many people are hitting me up on a daily as to upcoming litters, puppies, what's going on, why aren't you producing, blah 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 blah. And it's, I haven't been really marketing it out there, and they're breaking the door down. So I'm thinking that that's due to the fact that the market is rebounding. Anthony McCausland says, how or from who do I get a genetic test for my dogs? Embark is the one company I do it. There's others like Wisdom Panel. So just go to Google and put a dog genetic dog test. I'm sure it's going to suggest a couple of them. Pretty Stevie says the one thing that I've learned is structure. Now that I've seen, I cannot see it. Again, once you understand structure, then what ends up happening is exactly what she said. You cannot unsee it. And then you start understanding, say, for example, my boy Fireball, I love to show him off, right? He's an old man now, but look at me showing off his front feet, right? Look at me showing off his front feet, right? Look at my girl Ali. I'm showing off her front feet, right? Right? I mean, there is a little grass there, but you can see that there's no East Westy there, right? Right? I'm showing off her front feet. May not be perfect, but they're pretty clean, right? Keep showing off the front feet, right? So the reason I'm saying all that, or I'm showing you all this, is because why is it I'm able to show front feet and all of a sudden you have a dog on a hill whose front feet are in 4 inches of grass? What do you think is happening there? If you're not street smart to figure that out, then that's one of the things that you're going to be bringing up on a future show of what should I have known then that I know now, right? Is really that simple. Love what you're doing, and thank you for helping us make our babies healthy. You got it. Number love. Nadies, I think that they would charge extra for the chromosomal map. I could care less. I'd pay for it. It's worth it, in my opinion. Too many breeders. Yeah. Listen. It's too many people trying to make okay. So you got breeders, right, that sell exclusively a dream. This is what they do. There's different types of breeders, and I'm not trying to point my finger at any one of them. Okay, I'm obviously a breeder. Okay, but you're not going to see me, or have you ever seen me pose a dog with a woman showing off a body part, right? And the dog is a train wreck, but she's showing off her booty or her boobs or anything else for that matter, right? For me, both the seller that's doing that and the buyer that's coming into that are both unethical. And I think they both definitely deserve each other, right? And that's just the way I see it, because I feel that somebody that's doing something like that isn't really a breeder. He's more of a running a circus to get attention to be able to sell their pups. Now, I'm pretty sure I'm offending quite a few out there by saying that. I could care less if they're getting offended. That's truly what I think. I think real breeders can market without having to show your wife off in order to sell a puppy. And those of you that are going to buy off of somebody that's doing this, if you're not seeing the red flags, you need to watch some QBN videos and lives and kind of figure things out, because, for at least for me, that's a big red flag. Why are you showing me anything outside of the dog? That's what I say. I don't want to see that beautiful hill he's standing on. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that log you're putting the dog on. Your wife is beautiful. I'm not going to take that from you, but it's not her booty I'm really looking at. I'm looking at the dog's conformation, right? Why are you not showing me the dog's conformation? But you're definitely showing me your wife's, right? So, hey, man, I call it like I see it. And for that, a lot of times I get hated on in this community, and that's great. I'm the 1%. It is what it is, right? Israel says, I don't think it's too many breeders. A lot to go out. The price has just come down all over except for the higher end. Exactly. People have gone burned. A lot of these people that saw that big old booty and bought the puppy, and now that puppy grew up to be a train wreck that they can't even breed because he was born with one testicle. And, there's no sperm coming out of him. Now, he's not looking anymore at big booty. I mean, he might look at the big booty that's in the picture, but not necessarily buying because he or she finally learned their lesson. I think a lot of that stuff is going on. And I'm obviously exaggerating. Not everybody's trying to sell that way. I'm just throwing it out there. Sulema, sorry I'm late. You're good, Sule. Nadine says, oh, okay, Sarata, but the higher end kennel produce champion dogs, though. Yes and no. What is a higher end kennel? Is it a popular kennel? Because, let's not lie to each other here. The internet is a popularity contest, right? That's why everybody and their sisters now making shorts, doing lives, and doing this and doing that. That doesn't necessarily mean they're throwing dogs in the ring, right? The higher end kennels, I believe, are, but they may not be the more popular kennels. You see how that works? So yeah, take it with a grain of salt. Anthony McCausland says, thanks, fam. You've been so helpful, though. I'm in Colorado. I still represent the 305. There you go, man. Now, man, a Miami dude in Colorado, man, I could just imagine that first winter you were loving snow, and right about now you're probably hating it, man. Acting Up 78. I follow you all the time on Facebook and save all your videos. Very informative. Thank you, Acting Up. Number love, man. Nadine says, laugh out loud. Posers. Ira Lawman says, thank you for what you do to help the community. Absolutely, man. I do what I do because I enjoy it. I like what I do, man. I didn't get into breeding. I didn't come into breeding to pay my bills. Okay, I was already a nurse, but I wanted to do something I really enjoyed, man. Maybe some other live, I could talk to you guys about how I got into nursing because I wanted to help other people. And then when I got in there, trying to escape corporate America, I soon realized I was really stepping into the wolf's den, if you know what I mean. But that's for another live some other day. Christian Idaheda says, when paid more attention to the woman's high rear instead of the dogs. Hey man. Hey, it is what it is. Don't put her out there if you don't want people seeing her high rear. You know, sometimes they even have a little east-west going on. The bully game is so watered down. It's time to get back to the basics because they're calling anything a bully these days just to make $1. Here's the thing, guys. I truly believe, and I have said it, that this new trend that has been the Brazilian bull, and nothing against the Brazilian bulls. We brought Aria from Samba Kennels here. We had a conversation on that. I couldn't be happier for the Brazilian bull to appear because you had these big breeders producing great names, calling them a bully. And now that's no longer going to fly. It's funny because I've seen a lot of those former Great Danes with a big popular name. You know, this past week I saw them selling puppies for $1,200, and I'm glad the market realized there's no room for that crap in our market. You know, unfortunately, when you become that popular, people buy from you blindly, and you have no incentive to improve the breed in any way. But now there's a new breed in town, and if you don't get it together as a breeding community, us American Bully XL breeders, we're going to get it handed to us, bottom line. So, hey, I call it like I see it, man. Nadine says that's the difference between work and a job. Yes. For me, it's therapy. It really is, man. I sit there and I see their interactions, their personalities. I talk to my dogs, guys. Maybe I should make a video, just me being around my dogs. Maybe I'll just put a mic and put a camera about 100 feet away. You'll see how I do it. I talk to my dogs all the time. And when I'm around them, it's almost as if though it's privileged space, privileged time. Why? Because when I'm talking to a human being, I got to kind of figure out if you're BSing me, if you're flattering me to get something from me, if you're genuine, which some of us are, but I got to start figuring all that thing out, all those things out. With dogs, none of that, man. If they lick you, they love you. If they growl or want to bite you, they don't. It's black and white. They're not fooling around. Loving what you do. Thank you. Adam Fields says, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. It couldn't be any more true. Couldn't be any more true. I can tell you when I came back from Florida, literally the next morning I had to get up at 4 because I had to drive to Dallas to pick up sperm to do a breeding on my female, and 4 hours driving up and 4 hours driving back. Me and my friends were just breaking down genetics, both genetically and phenotypically, breaking the dogs down, breaking down percentages of what I can get. I'm not talking about colors either. I'm talking about bone, percentages of the tight feet. Like if you look at our girl Ali, which is the female that was bred, one of the things I love about her is the low cut tight foot. She's got a little cat paw, but not just that. Look at how low her pasterns are. See, nice, tight, low pasterns. I really like that. And if you notice, I've had other dogs that may have lacked in other areas, but when you go down to the tightness of the paws, they've been there. Even my girl Callie that passed away, and she had a less tight paw, but it was low cut, meaning she didn't have long pasterns, right? These are just little subtleties that when you start seeing a breeder in their program, you start picking up, oh, this guy, he really pays attention to the pasterns and them being low cut and whatnot. And that's what I've always prided myself on. That's what I like. That's what we're going to breed. Also, if you look at the dogs that I've acquired, they have low cut pasterns. It's not a coincidence, of course. I'm purposefully bringing that into my program, right? It just is what it is. How many dogs do you have? Philip, you don't ask that to a breeder. My response is several, and we're going to leave it at that. Nothing wrong with asking that, by the way. Just a breeder will never give you a straight answer, I guess. That's what I'm going to tell you. Acting Up 78, I just saw your post on Facebook about the Lotrimin. What does that do and what use for it on the dogs? I've already spoken on this. If you could rewind on this video, it's for to help yeast infection, but there's other things you must do. So either follow the steps on that short, which is going to take you to a video where I show you how to do it, or just hit rewind on this live, all right? Lit G says facts. Number love, man. EJ says, was there a specific American Bully you remember seeing that drew you to the breed initially? Yes. The one that drew me most to the breed at the time was Terrorist Threats. If you look at them now, let's see if I can bring them up on the screen. Good question, by the way. He put here American Bully. He definitely, I don't know what you guys would think about him now. Back then he was a pretty big deal. Looking for a picture here and I can't really find it anymore. Let me see. Come on, man. I definitely want to share this with you guys. Let me put American Bully Terrorist Threats. Maybe if I change the order, it'll come right up. He was the thing that made him special is, yeah, here he is. He came from Razor's Edge bloodline, right? That's what made him special in my eyes. So let me bring him up so you guys can see him. There you go. That's Terrorist Threats. Nowadays, when you see them, nothing out of this world. Look, if I was going to critique him now, which is a bit unfair, this dog's already passed away and everything. He was definitely a major producer. I like my pasterns a little bit less long than that and a little bit tighter. Also, in the position he's standing here, again, you can't judge a dog, but just on this stance alone, he's showing a little bit of cowhawks. It could just be the way that he's standing at the moment, and just by the picture, it kind of leads me to believe there might be a little bit of high rear. Let me see if I see another picture of him. These are all Blue Fire dogs. Blue Fire was the kennel that produced him. Let's see. Yeah, no, there's not many pictures of Terrorist Threats going around, but yeah, this was the dog that drew me a lot. There was another dog too that was a blue dog. I never found out what his name was. So it is what it is. Let me see. Let me catch up here. Guy K9 replying to EJ Shamrock and Samson is what made me want to be a part of the amazing community. Okay. Hey, Samson, amazing dog. RCQ, is there money to be made outside of studying a male or selling puppies? I like producing litters, but selling pups is not a smooth process. My dogs are worth more than what people can pay. Well, RCQ, I would maybe look into maybe training your pups so that they can go I don't know, to either vets that need it or to maybe I don't know, do therapy work, that sort of thing. I mean, your question is legitimate, but when it comes to breeding, is studying your male, right? That's how you're going to make money off your males, and producing puppies and bettering your line, which betters your quality. So, unless you somehow can get your dogs into being a model dog for a kibble brand or a food brand or whatever, I don't know what else to tell you. Frida says, Raul, I was scrolling through Facebook and seeing you as a guest. You done an awesome job. I thought I was watching your live for a minute. Thank you. Nadine says, what I love about you, Raul, is that you're so objective, very unselfish. Thank you. Yeah, well, it is what it is. I mean, I'm at that point in my life where if it's black, it's black, and if it's white, it's white, and I'm not going to just call it gray to make you feel better. That's just not the way I roll. But either way, guys, it's been a good live. We've spoken. I hope a lot of you new people coming in, and even older people that or not older people in age, but I'm talking about people that have a little bit more experience. I hope you've been able to learn something from what other people have shared and their experiences. I know I've learned a couple of things, and we'll definitely go ahead and do this again on Monday. We're going to be, I don't know, I'll come up with the topic between now and then, and I'll definitely have my show host, and we'll have Kyle in the back. Either way, guys, I appreciate you for tuning in. TGIF, Dog Talk. It's been Raul from the Q. Be catching you on the next one.
We are going for a whole hour, straight dog talk and the song. Jump on in and speculate. Show up on time, don't be weak and late. We are community, so don't hate.